I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people watching this are a little embarrassed about. Living with your parents. Maybe you moved back after college. Maybe you never left. Maybe you're 27, 29, 32, and every time someone asks where you live, there's this little pause before you answer. I want you to hear a number. 52%. That's the share of Americans age 18 to 29 who are currently living with a parent or grandparent. The highest it's been since the 1940s. Read that again. More than half. So if that's you, I need you to actually sit with this for a second. You are not behind. You are not the exception. You are statistically the rule. And here's the part that's going to surprise you. It's not because people your age can't get jobs. It's something else entirely. And once I explain it, I think you're going to feel something you haven't felt about this in a while. Relief. Let's get into it, okay? So here's where most people's minds go when they think about this. They think, it must be because the job market is bad. People can't find work, so they move home. That makes sense, right? That's the story we've all kind of absorbed. Here's the thing, though. It's not true. Or at least, it's not the main thing. The unemployment rate for people in their early 20s right now is around 9.4%. That sounds high until you compare it to where it's been. It peaked at over 17% in the years since 2010. So we're actually well below that peak. So if it's not that people can't get jobs, what is it? It's rent. Specifically, it's the gap between what rent costs now and what people your age actually earn when they start out. Here's the comparison that made this click for me. A lot of our parents or grandparents bought their first home with a mortgage rate locked in years ago. Some of them are paying mortgages that, adjusted for everything, cost less per month than a one-bedroom apartment costs to rent today in the same city. Let that sink in. It's not that people your age don't want to be independent. It's not that you're not trying hard enough. It's that the actual math, rent versus entry-level pay, doesn't work the way it used to. At all. This is a structural shift, not a personal one. And I really need you to hear that distinction because it changes everything about how you should feel walking into this video. Let me give you a few more numbers because I think when you see the whole picture, something shifts. Number one. The median age of a first-time homebuyer in 2025 was 35 years old. 35. Compare that to 2008, which already felt late to a lot of people back then, when the median was 31. In one generation, that number moved by 4 years. And if you go back further, to our parents' or grandparents' generation, it was off in the mid-20s. Number two. Rent has been climbing in a way that's outpaced almost everything else. In some major cities, rent has gone up by as much as 40% since the pandemic. 40%. Meanwhile, entry-level wages, the wages people get when they're starting out, have not moved anywhere close to that. And number three, this one's about your generation specifically. Roughly 8 million adults between 25 and 34 are now living in some kind of shared household. Not living alone. Doubling up with roommates, partners, family. So here's what I want you to take from all of this. If you're living with your parents, or with 3 roommates, or you moved back home after thinking you were done with that, you are not failing at something previous generations succeeded at. You are navigating something previous generations simply did not have to navigate. Different math, different game, same effort, different outcome. That's not an excuse to stop trying. It's context. And context changes how you carry this. Now here's where I want to actually talk to you, not the numbers. You. I know what it feels like when someone asks, "So where do you live?" And the honest answer makes you feel small. Like you have to explain yourself, like there's an asterisk on your life. I want to offer you a different way to think about this, and I need you to actually consider it, not just nod along. Living with your parents right now, if that's your situation, isn't a sign that something's wrong with you. It might be the smartest financial decision available to you right now. In this exact economy, here's why. Every dollar you're not spending on rent is a dollar that can go somewhere else. Savings, debt payoff, an emergency fund, investments. The exact things we've talked about on this channel. The things that build a foundation. People who lived independently the moment they could afford to, even if afford meant stretching every month, often have nothing left over. No savings, no investments, just survival with an address that sounds more impressive. I'd rather you have $10,000 saved and live with your mom for 2 more years than have $0 saved and an apartment that looks good on paper. One of those situations sets you up. The other one just looks like it does. This isn't permanent. This is a season. And the question isn't, why am I still here? The question is, am I using this time well? That's the only question that actually matters. Okay, so if you're in this situation, living at home, living with roommates, doubled up with a partner to save money, here's what I want you to actually do with this window, because it is a window. And windows close. First, name the number. Figure out exactly how much you're saving by not paying full rent, not vaguely, exactly. If a 1-bedroom in your area runs $1,600 and you're paying your parents $400 or paying nothing, that's $1,200 a month of advantage. Write that number down. That's your edge. Most people never even calculate it, so it doesn't feel real. Second, give that number a job. This is where last week's conversation comes back. That $1,200 a month, or whatever your number is, shouldn't just disappear into spending because it doesn't feel like real money since you're not paying rent anyway. Split it. Some goes to an emergency fund if you don't have one. Some goes toward debt if you have it. And once those are handled, some of it goes into investing. Remember the order of operations we talked about. 401k match, Roth IRA, then everything else. Third, set a timeline, not a deadline. I'm not telling you to set some arbitrary date like I'll move out by 27 no matter what. That kind of pressure leads to bad decisions. Signing a lease you can't actually afford just to hit a deadline. Instead, set a number. I'll feel ready to move out when I have 6 months of expenses saved, plus enough for a deposit, plus my debt is under control. That's a real target. And it's one you're building toward every single month you stay where you are. Fourth, and this one's just for your head, not your wallet, stop explaining yourself. When someone asks where you live and you feel that little flinch, you don't owe anyone an explanation. I'm living at home right now while I get ahead financially is not an apology. It's a strategy. Say it like one. You're not behind the people who moved out at 22 and are now stressed every single month with nothing saved. You might actually be ahead of them. You just can't see it yet because nobody talks about the version of this story that doesn't involve shame. So here's what I want you to walk away with. 52%. More than half of people your age. You are not the exception, you're the majority. In a situation that the math itself created, not something you did wrong. The unemployment numbers don't explain it, the rent numbers do. This is structural, not personal. And if you're in this situation, the smartest thing you can do isn't to rush out of it. It's to use it. Name your advantage. Give it a job. Set a real target. And stop apologizing for something that, done right, sets you up better than the alternative ever would have. I know this one hit close for some of you. If it did, I'd actually love to hear it. Drop a comment. Tell me where you're at. You are not the only one, and honestly, hearing each other's stories is part of what takes the shame out of this. I'm Uncle Tim. You're not behind. You're just playing a different game than the one we were told about. I'll see you next week.